Okay, I'm doing a first time reaction to Elijah Johnson's apologetics. He posted a video not too long ago. Muslim uses Gnostic gospels to try to deny crucifixion. Then he has this title on top, Why Aren't You Christian? He does these lives. I think this is a good idea, trying to engage with people like that. So, yeah, Elijah Johnson Apologetics. That's his YouTube channel. I will have the full video that I'm reacting to. The link of it will be in the description box below so you guys can check it out for yourself. I'm Jermaine. Welcome to the 91 Box channel. Make sure you like, share this with some of your friends or people you know, and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. First time reaction, let's get into it.
Hello.
Hey, bro. How's it going, man?
Oh, good. How are you?
Pretty good, man.
No. What's up? Are you Christian?
No, I'm not a Christian. I'm Muslim.
Muslim? Okay. What's up? Why are you Muslim then?
Oh, I just believe it to be true. So I decided. But I had a question for you. Do you believe that Jesus was crucified?
Yeah.
Okay. So what apostles saw the crucifixion?
John.
First time. John, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you aware of the manuscripts that John was, well, we don't know if he authored them, but they're attributed to John, right? So for example, in the New Testament, you have the Gospels of John, right? John 1, 2, and 3. But are you aware of the Acts of John?
The Acts of John?
Yep.
No, I've never heard of that.
Okay, so see if I can send you a link here. So according to Acts of John, again, this was written 120 CE, around the same time that the Gospels of John were written, or the manuscripts were written, right?
No.
So I'm going to read it out to you, okay?
Well, no, the Gospel of John is written before this.
The Gospels of John were written in 900 to 100 CE.
900 to 100 CE?
Yep.
900 to 100 CE?
No, sorry, 90 to 100.
Oh, I mean, I believe that they're written before. I think that there's good evidence to say that they're written before, but
Hold on, I want to do something here. So the guy said he misspoke, but he clarified himself. The Muslim guy, I forget the guy's name, but he said somewhere the Gospel of John was written around 90 to 100 AD. So you have liberal scholars who give a later date for when John is written, and then you have more conservative scholars who probably maybe are more Christian or lean towards Christianity. They give earlier dates, I think between 50 to 60. But you know what? Let me just do a quick Google search because I don't have it on the top of my head. But when do scholars say the Gospel of John was written?
Most scholars believe the Gospel of John was written around AD 90 to 100. However, some suggest an earlier date, perhaps between AD 60 and 90, while others propose a date in the early 2nd century, based on evidence like the Rylands Library Papyrus P52.
Okay, all right. So when you do a Google search, which I asked Google, when do scholars say the Gospel of John was written? And they say most scholars say 90 to 100 AD. Okay, I can be okay with. So John was around the time of he was around with Jesus. Jesus had ascended to heaven sometime around some will say 33 AD, some will say 38 AD. It's debatable, but let's go with the later date. Jesus Christ, he ascends to heaven 38 38 AD. So if we're gonna do, I'm gonna do 100 years. How about that? I'm gonna do 100 years. Minus 38. So 62 years later that the Gospel of John was written. Okay, cool. And if John was somewhere in his 20s, let's just say 25. Actually, let's backtrack. 25. So 38 AD, John would have been 25. I'm just throwing out a number. And 62 years later, he would have been 87. That's perfectly fine. If like, I'm giving like the latest date. The Gospel of John was written 100 AD. I think it's earlier. As a believer, I would put it earlier. Like I would put it between 60 to 80 AD that it was written. Probably, closer to when he's like 50 or 60 or whatever. But you know what? Just for the sake of the conversation, he written the Gospel of John written that his Gospel 100 AD. That's perfectly fine. He's still within the living time period of when Jesus ascended. He's still within the first century. And there are people who have witnessed impact events early in their life and remember 60 years later and can still recall certain details. They can have people help them write out their thoughts, and scribes were a thing. So that's not necessarily an issue. So let's continue.
Either way, it would be in the first century.
First century.
Yeah. And so the Acts of John are in the same time period. That's what I was saying. So
this isn't another. This would be after the death of the apostle.
No, but even the Gospels of John could have been after the death of the apostle, right? It's 100 years later.
No.
Mm-hmm. But the Acts. So are you saying the Acts of John was not there because it's in the text here? I have the manuscripts.
Yeah, the Acts of John would come after the death of the apostle, so it wouldn't actually be John writing these things down or like teaching them.
Okay, so who wrote the Gospels of John?
John, the apostle, the beloved disciple.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
So if you look at the history, it's either anonymous or they've attributed to Johannine, I think is how you say his name. That's who they attributed the Gospels of John to.
No,
but they're not.
It's John.
In
the text.
Go ahead.
In the text, it says that it's this specific disciple, the beloved disciple, who wrote these things down. And then the outside attestation as well also identify him as the beloved disciple who leaned upon the chest of Jesus.
Yeah, we're not contesting that. We both are saying that John was eyewitness of Jesus.
No,
right?
that he's the one who wrote these things down.
Okay. Show me where it says that.
Okay. So first thing, you could go to John chapter 21.
No. You can't use the
Oh, so you just want outside attestation? Okay, I didn't know you just wanted outside attestation. I'll go to that too.
Yeah.
I don't know why this guy's making it so difficult. Like, from what I've learned about Muslims, watching, giving their admission and watching Christians debate them, Muslims believe parts of the Bible is corrupted. So even if a Christian was to give them the information from the source, the scriptures, which are historical documents, if Muslims believe parts of the Bible are corrupted, but we have historical documents, why would you trust anything in the Bible? Why would you even point out certain parts where, Jesus spoke Aramaic? And then as Christians, we would ask you, where did you get that from? Does it say it in the Quran? They would say no. They don't realize they're using a talking point that they get from the Bible, but yet they say parts of the Bible is corrupted. How can you guys use parts of the Bible for your own advantage, but as Christians, we can't. To me, it doesn't make any sense. But I guess it's what their imams tell them in the masjid. So let's go further.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's where I'm getting the Acts of John is from outside, right? So
Okay.
But while you look that up, if it's okay if I read what it says.
Sure.
Okay. So again, Acts of John, right? If you look down to paragraph 99, it says, "But this is not the cross of the wood which thou wilt see when thou goest down hence. Neither am I he that is on the cross, whom now thou see not. But
You're gonna have to. I'm not even gonna
voice."
hold you. Can you get like a modern translation of what you're reading, bro? Because I can't understand what you're saying.
If that's the King James version, some of my brothers and sisters in Christ, they're like, this is the best version. I'm like, it's old English. Let's use something very simple and clear. You have the ESV, and then you have the CEB, the Common English Bible. So English Standard Version, and then the Common English Bible version. Those are both great. Or the NIV, or the NLT. So using a translation that's just clear and modern that most modern people can understand.
Okay, let me interpret what it's saying. This is like old school English, right? So basically what it's saying is that so John saw Jesus floating above the cross. Okay? And then Jesus is saying, "I am not the one on the cross that you see. And the voice that you hear on the cross is not mine." That's what it's saying. So Jesus himself is telling John, it may look like me on the cross, but it's not me. It's somebody else.
Yeah. So the Acts of John is a Gnostic text.
I knew you were going to bring that up. I'm glad you brought that up, right?
Well, I don't know why you're glad, but here's what I'm talking about. So afterward, John, the disciple of the Lord, who also leaned upon his breast, did himself publish a gospel during his residence at Ephesus in Asia.
Yeah, but tie that to the John 1, 2, and 3. Where does it say that? It just says that there was something written. It doesn't say what it was.
You said what?
So we're talking
about the Gospel of John, because you're talking about the crucifixion. John details the crucifixion in his gospel, and you're saying that John the apostle didn't write the text. So I was going to show you in the text where John identifies himself, but you said you can't use the text, use outside attestation. So this is outside attestation around the same time where you're getting your Acts of John from. Around this same time, you have this apostle of the disciples talking about that John, the disciple of the Lord, who also leaned upon his breast, did himself publish a gospel during his residence at Ephesus in Asia.
Okay. No, I got you, man. I got you. No, I think where we disagree is that I'm not saying the link between the actual text versus, we both agree that gospels were written by John, right? But according to the stuff that I've read, they're still attributed as being anonymous.
Yeah. I think the issue with a lot of people is like discerning like what is historically accurate, like which sources are actually linked to the original event. And I think this is a bigger issue, that history is not really taught to a lot of kids growing up, and they're not taught how to look for the sources that connect to the actual event. How do we do this? The world don't care about it, especially some places in America. They don't care to teach this stuff. You have to learn this when you're an adult. Maybe some schools, they actually do this, but it seems like the guy, he's getting his information from Gnostic Gospels. The Gnostics, in that time, they didn't believe that the physical world was good. They thought it was evil. So they're promoting their own scriptures, putting their own thoughts or claims that, hey, the physical world is evil, probably because they saw all these different things in the world and they thought the physical world was evil, the spiritual was good. But we know this goes against Christianity because God, he exists in the spiritual world, and the spiritual world is the foundation that created the physical world. So God says the spiritual world and the physical world are both good. This is why he gave human beings a physical body, and we also have a spirit that comes from the ultimate spirit, the triune God. So, and then I just remembered, I actually watched this video. I thought this was like my first time watching this, but I remember the icon, the guy with the hat. Like when I saw this icon, and it jogged my memory. I've seen this before. So I had listened to it previously, like I think last week or whatever. But Elijah goes on to tell him that in the past, how they would do plagiarism is that people would write their own documents, and they would put a famous name on it to propagate their ideas out in the world. Well, this person is famous, this person is well known. If I want to get my ideas out there, I'm going to put his name onto the documents. And this is why people today, modern times, like 2,000 years later, people are quoting plagiarized documents from people who are not the actual people who followed Jesus. Anyway, it goes on further. Again, I'm going to put the full video in the full video link in the description box below. It's about 40 minutes long. But yeah, brothers and sisters in Christ, pray for Muslims. Pray that they come to Christ. Pray that they seek the truth. And Muslims, get into the conversation. Let me know your thoughts. Be civil. Please tell me what you agree or disagree with. You can let me know what you think. Leave your comments in the description box below. I want to hear them. So yeah, I'm Jermaine. I'm signing out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.